Meet Nathaniel Johnson, a policy advisor for the United States Department of the Treasury.
We should be getting rid of people who don't do their jobs, and I hate to say it, I know a few of them. There are people that I know who've been working for the government for like 40 years, and they don't do much.
A few moments later.
After the client to be named.
We intend to name you, Nate.
Why would you do that?
Because I'm a reporter, and I think that people deserve to know the things that you've said.
No one elected Elon Musk and his minions.
No, the lie detector determined that was a lie.
So a lot of it is I think convincing people who sometimes feel like the vote doesn't matter or it's all rigged or whatever, that actually the vote does matter. And if there's any election in their lifetime that they're going to vote, they should vote in this one.
The only platform where we can find the truth, and not only here in the United States, but...
I mean, I agree the federal government should get off people's backs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And do you believe that nullification is...
Regarding the COVID vaccine mandates a couple of years ago?
Yeah, those were crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that scares the system, that scares the machine, is that Donald Trump is not a puppet. He's a real person, you know? And he's not beholden to anyone. And that's why you see sort of, you know, that they're trying to, you know? And, you know, I mentioned as a joke, I meant it as a joke, that no one's even bothering to try to Kamala, you know, because there's no point. There's no point, is what just get another puppet, you know? It was Reagan in the early 80s. And I've had many conversations with President Trump, who is very much aligned in thinking that we need significant government reform. We need to get the government out of people's lives, really. And have America be the land of liberty, which is that is what has made America great.
And it's important that individuals understand that all 18 attorneys general who have filed this action seek to stop a private individual from accessing the private information of millions of Americans, their Social Security numbers, their tax information, their addresses.
Meanwhile,
but the question is, is January 6th being used as an excuse to further abuse the civil liberties of American citizens, and specifically political opponents or people who are critical of Joe Biden or people who ask questions about the wrong things? And it looks like that's the case. So we sued the FBI for the records on the alleged transfer of bank financial data of every person in the DC area on January 6th. We asked because there was a report that happened. There were several news articles that Bank of America specifically had actively but secretly engaged in the hunt for extremists in cooperation with the government. And following the events of January 6th, gave the FBI financial records of their customers who fit the following profile. Customers confirmed as transacting either through bank account debit cards or credit card purchases in Washington, D.C. between 1/5 and 1/6. That will cover everyone in the city, practically speaking, potentially, who's a Bank of America customer. And I don't believe it was just limited to Bank of America. Purchases made for hotel, Airbnb, RSVPs in DC, Virginia, and Maryland on 1/6. Any purchases of weapons or weapon-related merchants at a weapons-related merchant between 1/7 and their upcoming suspected stay in DC area around Inauguration Day. So they were investigating people even after 1/6, not because they'd done anything there. It's just they wanted to know who was purchasing guns. As a dragnet. And of course, airline-related purchases since 1/6. So we asked for documents about that. That's pretty extraordinary. Did the bank do it because the FBI requested? Some reports suggest that there was no subpoena, there was no, quote, letter national security letter or otherwise, requesting this information. There was this data dump. If you were a Bank of America customer or a customer of another bank, perhaps, we don't know, you had your private financial data sent over to the FBI, who then could root through it.
Meanwhile,
there are people that I know who've been working for the government for like 30 years, and they don't do much. I hate to say it. I know a few of them.
meet Nathaniel Johnson, a policy advisor for the United States Department of the Treasury.
Basically, no one's quitting. Everyone's essentially dug in their feet and said, like, you're going to have to fire.
A few moments later.
We did win today. They allowed us to move forward with the very generous plan that the president proposed, which is that you need to come to work if you're paid by the American people and if you're a federal employee. I show up to work every day, and if you choose not to do so, that's your prerogative. Guess what? We'll even give you up until October's pay. No problem, but you got to go.
The policy advisor for the Treasury declares that what Elon is doing is, quote, government-sanctioned harassment.
Every single federal employee got the email last Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, that basically said, we're offering you the option to retire. No one has ever done that before. Two, no one thinks it's legal.
But you gotta go.
It's not going to do anything, and it's going to fire the wrong people. It's like government-sanctioned harassment.
Nate Johnson says that Doge should not have access to the Treasury Department. He says due to, quote, risks to national security.
It's weird because it's like no one knows what they want to do with the system. This is like what I deal with, is like vulnerabilities, risk, and stuff like that. It's that person who has access, you probably shouldn't have access. You could take that information and give it to someone that they shouldn't give it to. Or they could give it to a foreign country. You can be American and you can still give that information away.
I also spoke directly to Nate Johnson. You say Elon is doing this because he, quote, really cares about money more than they do the country. Do you think Elon Musk cares more about money than the country?
I don't believe I ever said that.
So the lie detector determined that was a lie.
I think that there is a class of people in this country who care more about money than they do about the country. He's shown that what he really cares about is money. So in theory, all he wants is more money.
Why not speak now publicly? Why not talk to a reporter about the things that you told a stranger?
I again am going to ask that you do not publish my name. I'm not giving permission.
Listen, I'm an investigative reporter. I don't get permission from people. That's not what I do.
I'm again going to have to ask that you please don't name me.
You're asking me to bury a story.
I'm declining to speak to you any further.
I am going to do this story, with or without your permission.